Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the channel. I am aTone. This is aTone Tarot. Aries, you are tuned in for the topic of new levels, new devils. Meaning those who are aspiring for higher, more change in their life, you'll have a new set of challenges, right? So with that being said, we're going to tap into what some of those challenges are going to look like for you in 2026. I'm going to break down the entire year by way of quarters, meaning the first 3 months, the second 3 months of the year, so on and so forth. I have 4 decks here. I will be tapping in via a traditional tarot for the opening of 2026, as well as going into the second quarter with the character oracle deck for 2026. And Kipper, I'll be pulling 5 cards for the third quarter with that, and I'll close you out with this inner wisdom deck, Aries. So without further ado, let's get up into your message. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I hope all is well. To my new viewers, welcome to the channel. For my returning viewers, welcome back. I appreciate you. If you could, please smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate it. All right, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. As it relates to what new challenges you may face in the first 3 months of 2026. Let's see what they might be. What challenges, if any, are going to pop up and crop up for my Aries. And I try not to focus on the negative of, the challenges. Ooh, no, a challenge, sometimes you can have good problems, like a lot of support, so much support rolling in that you have to turn people away. And you feel bad about doing that. Listen, man, it's all about how you look at it. So let's see what challenges, if any, will be popping up for my Aries in the first 3 months of 2026. 5 cards, please. More cards, and there they go, just like that, Aries. All right, Aries, so you receive the Ace of Swords, the King of Cups in reverse, the 7 of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and the 7 of Coins. So there seems to be some push and pull here. As it relates to the challenges you might be facing in the first 3 months of the year, Aries, this feels like you're trying to get someone to do something and they're not listening. Somebody is not listening. The challenge is someone you feel is being lazy and they're not disciplining themselves to get something done, whether it be to be on time. And I'm picking up on, and I don't know why I got this, like you may be giving somebody a ride to work and this person is making you late because they're not ready when you get there to pick them up. And you're like, look, I'm giving you a ride and you slowing me down. And I gotta let you know that I will leave you. Something like that, where you're working in tandem with someone in a group and somebody's not pulling their weight and you feel the need to have to speak on it. Like, if I'm doing ABC, you need to be doing 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yes. And whoever this is, they may use emotional manipulation to try to dance around being accountable for what you're calling them on, Aries. They might say, well, I'm tired, or whatever the case may be. They may be providing an explanation that my Aries just does not want to hear. You like, yeah, that may be true and all, but I'm this and that as well, but I don't have the luxury to slack, and neither do you if we're on this team or ship or journey together. There's you feel like someone may be slowing you down a little bit, Aries. Yeah, I'm picking up on an Aries collective that feels as though they might be further along had it not been for someone or something doing their part in a partnership. And there is some real conversations or real live truths that are exposed in the first 3 months of the year, where whenever this point is raised, the person may become volatile with that that King of Cups in reverse. Yeah. You ever go to someone and you want to talk about a difficult topic, and the person is very emotional? You know this, and you try to approach it with as much like sensitivity as possible, like from a very level-headed place. You're not too high up, you're not too low down, you make sure the temperature is right in the room. You do everything to ensure that the environment and the space to have this conversation is comfortable and inviting. And it does not matter, this person will still create a fuss around the topic being brought up. Yeah. So that is the challenge I see for my Aries collective going into the first 3 months of the year. Someone not doing well with accountability, not taking accountability for things that the Aries feels like we're working towards something and you're not doing your part. And I need you to do your part. So let's see what the second quarter of 2026 looks like. And that is from April until the end of June. So from April to the end of June, who and what challenges may my Aries face in 2026? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Five cards, please. More cards. One more card. There we go. All right. So my Aries received Knight, Revolutionist, Reader, Homeless, Ninja. So with this spread, I am picking up on as far as the challenges that may be faced with my Aries, um, that energy of wanting to move at a pace that is very quick. So the challenges that you're going to face in the second quarter are not being able to move at the pace that you would like. This is about speed and doing something that you know needs to be done with Knight and Ninja as well as Revolutionist. And I'll get to Reader and Homeless in a minute. But those three definitely are giving me momentum around something that my Aries either wants to do, wants to put in motion. I don't know what this is, but I really am picking up on like a stampede of horses. Like you want to ride wild, you want to go crazy, you want to go places, you want to go far, you want to do big things, you want to be seen as well as silent too. You want to be seen, not heard. And like the wind, you want to be out. Like, so yeah. And to some degree, it could be you're paired with someone who's not like that, with Reader and Homeless. That's like a complete contrast to this energy. And it could be knocking the wind out of your sails a little bit, Aries. So the challenge in the second quarter of 2026 could be balancing your wins and your energy and your fast forward at momentum with someone who moves at a slower pace, who is not as maybe flashy as you are, Aries. But that doesn't mean there isn't value in this individual or energy. Slowing down and getting the knowledge to be able to move with a certain amount of confidence as well as momentum. So there's that herky jerky energy of maybe having the having three parts of a 5-piece plan, and you're like, oh, 3 out of 5 ain't bad. You know what I mean? That's enough for me to get going. I'm going. And you out. And that's the mindset that you possess. You like, why should I wait around? I have enough to get started. I'm going. There is some warning of making sure you acquire the appropriate knowledge, Aries, before you go charging in, because it can have some very major impacts if you don't read the fine print. Do the research first. Don't just go get the crowd up and hype and getting people wanting to get behind you on something that you haven't fully flushed out as a plan. Basically don't bring a half-baked plan to the table. Make sure you're doing your research. Because you can make somebody homeless if you don't. All right. So that is the second quarter of 2026 for my Aries collective. Let's get into the third quarter. That would be from July to the end of October. No, I'm sorry. The end of September. The end of September. Yes. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for my Aries collective. Let's see for the third quarter. What sets of challenges do my Aries need to be on the lookout for? Let's see. And I just had the urge to mix up the cards in a different way. Let's see. All right, Aries, 5 cards, please, for my Aries collective. one more card. All right, Aries. So you receive marriage, courtship, and in reverse. Main male, lovers, poverty. I position these cards upright too, just FYI. All my cards are positioned upright before I even turn on the camera. So just something to know. If the card comes out in reverse, that's the message intended for you. So with marriage being here upright and then courtship in reverse, this is possibly a marriage that needs some spicing up. I'm gonna just say it. There could be some partners that need to return to being lovers because it's a struggle, or there's somebody else in between a marriage. There's a third party. Amen. If this ain't your message, if it does not apply, let it fly. I ain't saying anybody's cheating, but with lovers being here, usually with all of these people, somebody is in the middle of something. It's a lot of people. And with poverty being here, that could be the end result of inviting someone else into a relationship that shouldn't have been invited. And this is the third quarter of 2026. So, yeah. With courtship in reverse, that's next to the marriage, that's the identification of cheating. That's what that is. Somebody is cheating, lying, not being honest, dipping out on the side, and they stand to lose a lot if they're found out. So the challenges that could be faced in the third quarter of the year for my Aries collective could be either you finding out someone hasn't been so honest and faithful with you, or you get exposed, Aries. And not only does your significant other become an issue, the person you were in a relationship with, it almost feels like those two team up on you and they double down. It feels like both parties are going to become an issue for you, whoever this other individual is. So maybe they didn't know you were in a relationship. Somebody is in the middle of some ish, or will be. So I hope you're not doing this, Aries, and I hope that if you're seeing this before we get to that point of the year, that you decide against it. Change your mind. Don't do it, because this is messy. And like I said, whoever this is, they stand to lose a lot with poverty being here. But it's your choice. It's your life. So that is the third quarter of the year. We're going to move on to the close of 2026 for my Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate you for that, Aries. Come on, give it up for me, please. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what's going on. You know, if this is maybe someone around you going through this that you know, Aries. Share that is an Aries. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. This may not be your message. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Don't force it. But somebody ain't gonna get caught up in something. So we gonna see. As it relates to the close of 2026 for my Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do we have? 5 cards, please. Two more cards. One more card, please, Spirit. All right, now, you received guarded, regret, refresh, recharge, strength, and sacrifice. All right, Aries. So as it relates to the last 3 months of 2026, I'm going to start with regret, because essentially that was the advice I was giving you before we moved on to this spread. Don't do it. You know, you may regret what comes of this. Whoever this is, they will have some regrets. A sacrifice will have to be made, and they are going to have to be strong to work through whatever damage is caused behind this, because someone is going to need to refresh, recharge, and is going to feel guarded from you or need space from you if you are the one behaving in this way, or if it's you, Aries, who is on the receiving end of this. You're going to need space, right? And you may even regret the amount of time, trust, energy, money, blood, sweat, tears that you invested in this partnership. But not for nothing, it created a certain amount of strength inside of you. You see how strong you are as a result of it. And, you know, not a lot of, even though this is, it looks like a rose blooming, it also looks like fire coming up out of this flower, which my Aries are pure fire, right? And that level of power and strength is not easy to be matched. So you never know how strong you are until you gotta be strong. Until it's your only choice, is what it's saying. So lift with your knees. Again, my collective, this world, a lot of us are carrying some very heavy things as it relates to our personal relationships, endeavors. We make sacrifices, changes in our lives as it relates to decisions around other people. So I know how difficult it can be to have to navigate some of that in this stage and part of our lives, right? Because, you know, we're not children anymore. We're not young anymore. So some of us are relatively young, right? But doesn't really matter how old you are. Once you're an adult, the amount of mistakes and bad choices made, they start to pile up, and they matter, and they weigh heavily on heart, head, pockets, right? And it doesn't hurt any less. It doesn't make you feel like you have to adapt, change, stretch, grow, and become something different any less, no matter what age. I'll say that. But it does change you in such a way, Aries, and it's a part of your path. It's a part of your journey. And from here, you just continue to discover more of who you are, going through some of these things and what you're made of. You know what I mean? And you have to take the good with the bad. And like I said, lift with your knees. So that is your message. I hope that it helps. And until next time, peace.